Joining me now is Lahav Harkov, Senior Political Correspondent at Jewish Insider. Lahav, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.
To remind our viewers, you and I talked a few days after October 7th, and I want to talk about what life is like right now inside of Israel. Can you tell us about the last few weeks and what's changed?
Yeah, over the last few weeks, I think like in the days after we last talked, it started to feel like the country was sort of emptying of all of its young men. Or not even young men; it's men between 18 and 40, more or less. Anyone who had served in a combat role and many other roles have been called up to the IDF. More than 100% have reported to reserve duty. And you also saw plane loads of Jewish people and Israelis from around the world just coming in to do reserve duty, even though, if someone lives outside the country, they're generally not really called up. So there is a little bit of a sense of, I've compared it to what people talk about, say, like in the U.S. in World War II, where there were no men around. The women had to like run the industries and things like that. So we're not there yet, but it does feel a little bit like that. And we're all home. We're all praying for our soldiers, and I think everybody's very, very worried about the hostages. That is the constant conversation in Israel about what will be with the hostages. Dozens of children as young as 9 months old are there, and elderly people and everyone in between. Israelis are very, very worried about the hostages and hope that we can bring them back soon. But at the same time, there's a sense of real unity and a real sense of a shared goal that we need to win this war, that we can no longer just try to contain the threat of Hamas and just tolerate it, just have, a short round of fighting and a ceasefire, because we see that they use those ceasefires to take the time to just build up their capabilities. And we want to stop having these rounds of fighting. We don't want this to be one war in a series.